Today's flipped homework is actually part of the classwork that was being worked on today in class. So it's a great opportunity for those of you who needed a little extra help today to get some more notes on the process for determining domain and range of continuous graphs. For those of us who in class today were working on the practice pages, if you have tried these, you can kind of use this as a video answer key to check your work. So we are on page 16. Let's get right into our first question. It says, use the vertical line test to see if each graph represents a function, then state domain and range using set builder notation. So remember, set notation or set builder notation. Just make a little note. For the domain, it's going to be a curly bracket, x such that, I'm actually going to change the color. X such that, leave a space, there's some number that's going to go here. Remember that the middle piece never changes. It's always going to be x is greater than a value and less than some value that we don't know, and close it. Range is the exact same setup, but instead of using x, we use y. So y such that, and then we have a value from the graph, and then y is between this number, or infinity, maybe, and this value. So for domain and range, we just need to find 4 values total. Everything in black is a consistent way of writing the set builder notation. Our job is to use our skills to figure out what goes in those green boxes. Just like in last night's video, I am going to draw this big, thick red line. This represents my pencil. So use your pencil the way that you see me use this red line. So for the domain, we have a habit of writing 2 letters above domain, left and then right, and then for the range, bottom and then top. So let's follow those directions. For the domain, I'm going to come in from the left side of the graph, and I stop when I hit the graph. At first glance, this looks like it could be -1 on the x-axis, because remember that domain is all about my x values. But I see this arrow, so that means that it is going left forever and ever and ever. So when I write that, I'm going to say that x, get my setup. When I come in from the left, I hit an arrow. So that's going to be -infinity. I can't equal infinity, so this does not get a line underneath. Now I'm going to come in from the right side. Coming in from the right, I stop when I hit the graph. It looks like it's 5, but again, I hit an arrow. To the right, forever and ever, is +infinity. And I'm all done. The directions didn't ask me for interval notation, so all I need to do is set notation. For coming in from the bottom and the top, we're going to turn our pencil sideways and do just that. So let's take our pencil. Coming in from the bottom, we hit an arrow again. So let's get our setup. Y, where y is between 2 values. Coming in from the bottom and hitting that arrow tells me that it's going to go down forever and ever. So that will be -infinity. And then we need to come in from the top. So I bring my pencil up here. Coming in from the top, I stop when I hit the graph. I hit another arrow. So that's +infinity. It's going to go up forever and ever. Again, no line underneath because you cannot equal infinity. The only other part which I skipped technically was supposed to come first. Is this a function? This graph does pass the vertical line test, so yes, passes VLT. Moving on to number 2, it's the exact same process. For the domain, we're going to come in from the left and the right. For the range, we will come in from the bottom and the top. This graph also passes the vertical line test. I can draw a vertical line anywhere through this graph. It's only going to hit once. So is this the function? Yes. Passes VLT. And now we're ready to get our setups. So before I even look at the graph, I'm actually going to set up both the domain and the range. Except that should not be an X, that should be a Y. So let me change this. There we go. Now that I have my setup, I'm going to use my pencil to help me find my values. So coming in from the left and right, I'm going to turn my pencil like so. Coming in from the left, I stop when I hit the graph. I ask myself, where am I on the x-axis? I see I am at 1. So I'm going to put 1 right here. Solid dot, so this does get a line underneath. Now I come in from the right side. I stop when I hit the graph. Ask myself, where am I on the x-axis? I am at 5. I see that that's an open circle, so I'm going to put 5 here, and I do not put a line underneath because that open circle means that it cannot equal 5. For the range, we will turn our pencil horizontally so that we can come in from the bottom. Coming in from the bottom, I stop when I hit the graph. Now I ask myself, where am I on the y-axis? And with my pencil here, I see that I am at 2. So I put 2 right here. I hit a solid dot, so this does get a line underneath. And now I will come in from the top. Coming in from the top, I stop when I hit the graph. I see that I land on the graph here, and I'm at 4 on the y-axis. So I put a 4 right there. That is an open circle, so no line underneath, and we are done with number 2. Number 3. Is this a function? Well, let's see. If I draw a vertical line, it hits twice. Once, twice. That is no good. So we say no, fails VLT. We can still say what the domain and range is though, so let's do that. If up till now you have been following along completely, that is fantastic. I'd ask that you press the space bar to pause the video and do the setups by yourself. And then you can press the space bar when you're done to keep listening, and we'll see if our setups match. So please press the space bar to pause and do the setups by yourself. Domain is going to be left, right. Range is bottom and top. My setups should look like x between 2 values, close it. My range, exact same thing, except with y. Turning my pencil the vertical way to come in from the left. Coming in from the left, I stop when I hit the graph. I see I am at -1 on the x-axis, so I say -1. And that's a solid dot. We had a conversation in class today that if for there to be an open circle here, I would literally see an open circle, just like this was an open circle. I don't see it there. So that means that technically these are all solid dots all the way around. So this does get a line underneath the inequality sign because it can equal -1. So I came in from the left, now I'm going to come in from the right, bring my pencil to the right side, Coming in from the right, I stop when I hit the graph. I landed on 5 on the x-axis, so 5 goes right here. For the range, we're going to come in from the bottom and the top. So I take my pencil and I turn it like so. Coming in from the bottom, we stop when we hit the graph. We're at -4 on the y-axis. That's a solid dot, so I do put a line underneath. Oops, this was also supposed to have a line underneath. Apologies. That was solid right there, so line underneath. Okay, back to the range. We came in from the bottom, now we're ready to come in from the top. Coming in from the top, I stop when I hit the graph. I'm at 2 on the y-axis, so I put a 2 and a line underneath, and we are all done. Number 3 is all set. Bring my pencil down here. Okay. Number 4. The process for 3, 4, and 5 is exactly what we're going to do for 4, 5, and 6. So, if you would like to challenge yourself and pause the video right now and actually try 4, 5, and 6 by yourself, then we can compare answers when you're done. That would be awesome. Or if you want to see one more, keep listening and then maybe pause it and try 5 and 6 by yourself. That would be great. So for number 4, I'm going to get my setups going first. I'm going to make a note that this is left, right. I might actually just go all the way across. Left, right. Left, right. And then for the range, come in from the bottom and then the top. Little mental reminders for myself. And let's get our setup. So for domain, it's going to be x, where x is between 2 values. Range, my y's, where y is between 2 values. Now we'll take our pencil, and I'm going to come in from the left first. So I need to swing the pencil to be vertical and get it on the left side of the graph. So coming in from the left, I stop when I hit the graph, which is right there. Looks like it's -3, but I see an arrow that's going up. Now, the arrow is going up, but remember that up and down has to do with the y values. We're thinking right now about our x values. So I agree, the y values go up, but as the y values are increasing, my x values are getting more and more negative forever and ever. So that will be -infinity. Now coming in from the right side, again, at first glance, we might think 3, but then I see that my x values are going to get bigger and bigger and bigger forever and ever because of that arrow. So this is positive infinity. We cannot equal infinity or negative infinity, so that is all set. No need for any lines underneath. We can't equal those values. For the range, we're going to swing our pencils sideways and now come in from the bottom. When I come in from the bottom, I stop right there and I see that I am at -4 on the y-axis, so I put a -4 right there. This does get a line underneath because it's a solid dot. Now I will come in from the top. So I come in from the top, I hit these arrows that tells me that the graph goes up forever and ever and ever. So I put a positive infinity and we're all done. Can't equal infinity, no line underneath. If that was enough to get you going for 5 and 6, go ahead and press pause, try 5 and 6 on your own. And then keep listening or check your answer when you're done using the video. For number 5, let's get our setup on the paper. X, where x is between these 2 values, and y, where y is between 2 values. So coming in from the left first, that's going to require that I turn my pencil to be the right way, vertically, so that I can put it on my paper, and now come in from the left. I will stop when I hit the graph. I hit the graph right there. That's at 1 on the x-axis. So I put a 1 right there. That will get a line underneath because there's a solid dot right there. We came in from the left, now it's time to come in from the right. So I put the pencil on the right side, stop when I hit the graph, bam, right there. Arrows. Even one of those arrows would have made this positive infinity. I actually have 2 arrows. So this is going to go to positive infinity forever. Range. Turn our pencils sideways. We're going to come in from the bottom first. I hit an arrow. So at this point, I'm hoping that as soon as we see we're dealing with an arrow, or we run into an arrow, it's positive or negative infinity. Be careful to consider what we're looking at. So I see that we're talking about range, so I might even put a little y right there, just to even remind myself one more time, all we care about are the y values. So at first glance, you might think, oh, this is going to positive infinity. I agree that the x values are going to positive infinity. But as my x values get bigger, the y values, slowly, it's going to take a while, but they're getting more and more negative. So when you're doing range and you come up from the bottom, if you hit an arrow, that is always negative infinity, every single time. Now I use my pencil to come in from the top. I stop when I hit the graph, another arrow, which means that this will be going up forever and ever, positive infinity. Last but not least, number 6. Let's get our setups on the paper. X is between 2 values, and range is between 2 values. If you have yet to press pause and try one, no worries. I'm happy to help with these notes. Please try 6 on your own. So press pause to try 6, and then we'll compare and see if we got the same answers. So for the domain, I will turn my pencil sideways, or excuse me, vertically, and now I'm going to come in from the left. I hit an arrow. Left forever and ever is negative infinity. So I put negative infinity right there. Oops. Now I come in from the right side, coming in from the right. Stop when I hit the graph, that's at 6. But is it? Ooh, I hit an arrow again. So it's not 6, it's positive infinity. For the range, let's turn our pencil horizontally so that we can use it to help us see what happens when we come in from the bottom. So coming in from the bottom, I stop when I hit the graph. Right there. I ask myself, where am I on the y-axis? I am at a positive 2. So I put 2 right here. And then we just need to decide, is it a solid or open circle? There's no open circle, meaning it's automatically closed. That point does exist. So it can be equal to 2. I put a line underneath. Coming in from the top, I see that I hit arrow, 2 arrows, actually, there's one there, but even 1 arrow would be enough to tell me it goes on forever and ever up, so that makes it positive infinity for the other value. For all 3 of these, I just realized I skipped saying if it's a function, but we are experts now at the vertical line test, so this one is a yes. Passes VLT. Number 5, no. Fails VLT. And last but not least, 6 is a yes, because it passes the vertical line test. That wraps up our flipped notes on page 16. Please keep working on any practice you might have that from pages 15 to 18 in your workbooks. The only homework that's being checked tomorrow is the page 16 flip notes, but if you know you would benefit from a little more practice while this is fresh in your head, that would be fantastic. Please send any questions on Remind, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Remember, quiz tomorrow on domain and range, set notation, interval notation, all that good stuff. So any questions, shoot me a message on Remind. See you tomorrow.